YouTube family, what's going on? It's your boy Ty. Welcome back, and if this is your first video, thanks for tuning in. On this channel, I primarily talk about fragrances, but I also sprinkle in some fashion and lifestyle content as well. So, if you're interested in that type of content, do me a favor, consider subscribing and make sure you hit the bell to stay notified anytime I post any new videos. Back with another fragrance review, this time for Joe Milano's Game of Spades Gold, which is actually inspired by Bond No. 9's Dubai Gold. So, as always, we're going to talk a little bit about how this one smells. We'll briefly talk about how it compares to the original, and then we'll get into performance, longevity, and I'll finish with my final thoughts. So, that sounds good to you? Let's jump right into it. Kick things off with the presentation, and if you've ever had any Joe Milano fragrances, the Game of Spades line, they all come in a pretty similar box that opens up like that. This one, though, however, is kind of covered with some sort of gold glitter. It doesn't necessarily leave any residue or anything on you, but a lot going on, I'll say that. Not a bad look, but it is a bit much. And then here we have the actual bottle. So as always, man, I'm really impressed with Joe Milano's bottles and their presentation in general. Got the spade on top, so very heavy, very high quality bottle, but that doesn't really matter. Let's talk about how this one actually smells. As I mentioned, y'all, this one is actually inspired by Bond No. 9's Dubai Gold, and I was able to smell that one a few weeks back when I was in the mall, and it smells really good. It's really all about amber. More than that, though, the woods. I think there's a number of different woody notes in there. You get some gaiac wood, sandalwood, cedar wood. So definitely, one that has that emphasis, and then also has a really nice saffron note as well. There's a little bit of orange, I think, and some other citrus up top, so you get a bit of a fruity sweetness. And I think there's also a brandy or some sort of boozy note in it. And all in all, again, smelled really good, kind of that warm, spicy, slightly powdery and woody feel. And, it's one that smelled really good. But that fragrance retails for $500, I believe, if not more than that. It might be $550. So again, definitely smelled good, but not one I was willing to, pull the trigger on and think about purchasing. So when I seen that Joe Milano had this one here that is inspired by that, I was intrigued and went ahead and kind of blind bought it. Still with that scent profile kind of fresh in my mind. And y'all have to be honest, when I smelled this, I was blown away. Though honestly, I really shouldn't have been that surprised, y'all, because I have Game of Spades Wild Card, which is inspired by Bond No. 9's Lafayette Street. That one is an absolute hit, one of my favorites. And then also have Game of Spades High Roller that is inspired by Creed's Inventus Absolute. So another one that is really good as well. So again, honestly, I shouldn't have been too surprised, but yeah, Joe Milano definitely did it again. Talk about how this one actually smells. So in terms of the note breakdown, almost identical to Bond's Dubai Gold, with the exception of that brandy or the boozy note. Joe Milano's doesn't list that, but this one opens up really nice, y'all. So you get this really nice orange, so it's kind of sweet, slightly fresh, but then you really get a blast of that saffron. So nice sweetness balanced with that nice warm spice from the saffron, and it just smells really good. But almost instantly, I'd say within a few minutes, still get that, kind of sweetness from the orange and the warm spice from the saffron, but slowly starts to taper back a little bit, and those woody notes really come through. So again, you get that gaiac wood, sandalwood, cedar wood, really heavy emphasis on those, and mixed with the opening, again, the warm spicy sweetness. It smells really good put together. All in all, to be this one is really all about that kind of amber that you get in the dry down, but really the woods mixed with that amber and that saffron that sticks around throughout. And honestly, it's just a really nice, warm, spicy, slightly powdery fragrance that just smells really good and smells really classy. And if you've never smelled this fragrance or Bond's Dubai Gold, a few other fragrances that this just DNA reminds me of as I smell it. The first would be Louis Vuitton's Lovers, I think it's called. It's one of their newer releases. Just because of kind of the woody components within that one. Heavy emphasis on the woods there, but done in a really nice and eloquent way. And then also, for some reason, as this one starts to dry down, kind of reminds me of Gucci's Intense Oud, which I oddly enough just reviewed a few weeks back. So don't know if it's, kind of just a sweetness with the, the opening of Gucci's Intentu that you get from some of the different fruit notes and, you know, the woodiness, of course, and the amber and the dry down. But those are just a couple fragrances that not at all, you know, one-to-ones or, you know, direct clones of, but as I smell this DNA, those are a few fragrances that came to my mind initially. So let's jump into performance and versatility, and we'll start with performance. So this one performs really well. Like all of Joe Milano's fragrances, this is parfum concentration, so definitely don't really have any issues when it comes to performance. I've worn this one about a handful of times, and, you know, with just 3 to 5 sprays, this one projects pretty well. But again, with that parfum concentration, does sit maybe just a bit closer to skin, but again, really nice scent trail, beautiful sillage that you get with these fragrances, and this one specifically. And from a longevity standpoint, easily getting kind of 7 to 8+ hours each time I've worn this. So definitely a good performer. In terms of versatility, this is one that I think will work best in the cooler weather. So fall, winter, this is one that's going to work really well. I think you could wear this day or night, but for me, this one is definitely more dressy than casual. So it doesn't have, you know, kind of the sweetness or the playfulness that, you know, a lot of other fragrances kind of within a lineup may have. And to me, I think that's fine, right? I think you need to have different fragrances for different situations. And for me, this is definitely one that's a lot smoother, a lot more refined, a lot more elegant, and one that, you know, I definitely would wear more dressed up, you know, for kind of special occasions or special nights out or special, you know, celebrations. And I think it's one that will work best in that situation. Getting into my final thoughts, Joe Milano's Game of Spades Gold, yo, this is another hit for me. You know, Joe Milano's doing some great things over there, and I'm here for it. This one smells really good. Of course, has that staying power and, you know, really good longevity. But more than anything, it's one that just has a really nice scent profile, right? So if you're someone that might be used to maybe designer releases that can be, you know, overly sweet, or, you know, just have that kind of youthfulness and, you know, playful edge to them, which is cool. This is a nice, you know, change of pace in terms of, you know, the scent DNA. So if you're looking for something that has, you know, that ambery sort of woodiness, but also has, you know, some saffron and spice and a slight powdery touch to it, I think this is one you might want to check out. Joe Milano's Game of Spades Gold. Of course, you get that quality that, you know, Joe Milano always brings, and at a price that, you know, is definitely more reasonable than you would get with the Bond No. 9's Dubai Gold. So that's one you're interested in. I would say this definitely is a solid alternative. That's going to wrap up today's review, y'all. I want to take a moment to thank you for tuning in and watching. You know, you could be doing so many other things, but you decided to check this video out, and I appreciate that. As always, leave me a comment below. Let me know if you've ever tried out Joe Milano's Game of Spades Gold. Love to hear about your thoughts and experience with it. And until next time, peace and love.